Fiestas de Moros y Cristianos beats through my heart and runs through my veins. When I hear the rumble of the Moors drum, timpani, and trumpet, and the beating march of the paso doble, my skin bristles and chills runs through my body. It is pure emotion, a feeling of excitement that fills me with life from the very first musical notes. The people of Spain are deeply rooted in tradition, often honoring our festivals. A beautiful mosaic of cultures and history that have left an indelible mark of Spanish life that becomes obvious when you meet us. Las Fiestas de Moros y Cristianos is celebrated in dozens of cities and villages along the Levantine coast. And although it is not known precisely when they began, this festival has been celebrated for centuries as part of a cultural tradition. The festival's origins come from religious and military battles among the Moors and Christians during the Reconquista that took place between the 8th and the 16th centuries. Las Fiestas de Moros y Cristianos is a celebration and representation of the Christian troops' victory in reclaiming the land. After many years traveling and living outside of Spain, distance has given me new perspectives of my village's beloved festival. Now, I am able to glimpse Las Fiestas de Moros y Cristianos from the eyes of a foreigner who might not have the full context of the celebration, and some parts can be easily misinterpreted. However, there is an abundance of respect for all that has happened in our history and all that has been added in richness to Spanish culture as a result. Here is the village of Biar. During 4 days in May, all the town's businesses close to help carry the town and its inhabitants back in time, to almost 8 centuries ago. Las fiestas begin with La Entrada. La Entrada represents the march of the Moors and Christian troops towards war, towards the struggle for a common land that experienced peaceful coexistence among a mishmash of cultures. On this day, the captains of each comparsa, groups representing troops, perform their best galas in a spectacular display of entertainment and showmanship that can include commanding dromedaries, dancing horses, and extraordinary costumes as they march towards battle. The whole village takes pride in the march and is excited to participate. The fiesta's crown jewel is the Virgin of Biar, la Mare de Déu de Gracia, the Mother of God in grace, which is carried down from her sanctuary outside of the village by single men into the parish that is in the center of town, where she is received with great devotion. I could not imagine experiencing Las Fiestas without the ever-present thundering of muskets and without the smell of gunpowder, which, far from threatening, is a sound that brings everyone together. On the second day, the comparsas and musical bands begin marching through the streets at 7 o'clock in the morning to awaken the village. Again, In the middle of the afternoon, they announce the beginning of the guerrilla, where the festeros reenact a battle. Representing spies, the Moors disguise themselves as clown or harlequin characters and playfully walk about the streets of Biar. They take measurements of the terrain and make detailed observations of the village and its inhabitants, all while gleefully running around town to avoid getting caught. A writer wets his pen in a chamber pot, and a procession arrives to announce the mother of Mohammed, a man dressed as a woman who brings with her a vase full of flowers, harmless and beautiful. In front of the castle, she will drop the vase, releasing a few mice hidden within. This symbolizes the Black Plague, a sickness the Moor troops tried to use against the Christians who fell safe behind the walls of the fortress. After the arrival of the spies, parliamentarians from both the Moors and Christians engage in a discussion that the Moors win. This began a Moorish reign of the territory that lasted more than 500 years. The dance of the spies is unique in Biar, a simple and repetitive dance that includes the whole village and lasts 4 hours. These characters and the people of the town, wrapped in robes rescued from old trunks, accompany the real protagonist of the day, La Mahoma, a symbol of the Prophet Muhammad who walks around the village reciting satirical poems written about the inhabitants of Biar and their most outstanding highlights of the year. I can remember one year a poem was recited about my uncle Miguel, once a widower, who had recently remarried. It was an honor to have La Mahoma say a rhyme about him. On the third day, after the Diana, the Reveille, and the other morning parades, the guerrilla gives rise to the last parley.
¿Quién me llama? Quien con sobrado valor y conociendo vuestra fama, viene aquí de embajador. Ya el león español del letargo despertó y cruda sed le devora. Ya llegó para ti el trance amargo. ¡Sangre! Quieren beber sangre mora.
Y si sois enladituchos, ganaréis la libertad.
Yo os prometo por mi fe que moriréis uno a uno.
Pues de los vuestros, ninguno, os juro, quedará en pie.
Again the muskets thunder, again the passionate poetry of distant wars. And one last battle takes place. It is time to bring down La Mahoma from the castle and to the entrance of the village. Biar has a curious tradition with the neighboring town, Villena. La Mahoma is loaned to the town for use in their own fiestas de Moros y Cristianos for nearly 200 years. Sharing the effigy of the Prophet has created a strong bond between the two towns. In protest for being forced out of the city, La Mahoma shakes his head no. Biaruts claim that Villena only provides beads, while in Biar, its true home, they pamper it with sweets. In truth, the neighboring town of Villena receives it with a party, musketeers, and joy. La Mahoma is not only a symbol of Las Fiestas, but is also an example of union, brotherhood, and fellowship between the two towns. La Mahoma is a symbol of peace that children admire and hold in their hearts. Having won the village of Biar, the comparsas honored the Virgin of Grace by leading a triumphant and solemn procession through the streets. All comparsas, representing the Moors and the Christians, join in a slow and regal step as they advance through the town with the Virgin. It is said that carrying her on one's shoulder, despite being very tired, is an honor above all others. People follow behind with somber step, especially the elderly and sick, to whom the Virgin of Grace turns to so that in her eyes they can find relief. It is on all these moments and expressions that you stop and suddenly understand everything. La Mahoma, the Virgin, the Moors and the Christians, all walking in harmony to the same rhythm. Days of remembrance of our ancestors and traditions, days of celebrating together despite of differences. Whether we are Moors or Christians, we are all united. These are celebrations of fun and joy, but they are also gatherings that communicate the most powerful message: peace, coexistence, respect, and love.